So obviously, we're in a situation with the Carolina Panthers where we are in not a total rebuild on the offense, but of course we are in a rebuild on the defense. Now, obviously, the acquisition of Dave McCandless, Brad Itzik, and everybody on that side helps us out quite a bit in establishing that offensive identity, and of course, hoping Bryce Young is able to show us that he is the number one pick that we all thought he was. So today, we're going to do things a little different. Today, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 people that need to really show out this year in order to fill the gaps that we're now losing on the defensive side. If you're a diehard roll coverage fan, you will know that I think the defense will take a step back, especially in the pass rush, even though being dead last year, I think it's not going to get much better. So, hopefully you're ready. My name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. Let's go.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope. They roll coverage.
Okay, so that brings us here. Brings us to an interesting place. My top 5 players that I think need to really show out or at least have the most to prove going into this next season and people we really need to be watching. So, without further ado, let's find out number 5 on this list. This one's a simple. Dan Morgan has hyped up Trevin Wallace to be the Dan Morgan type guy that we're looking for. Now, obviously, if you've seen any of my other videos where I talk about Trevin Wallace, including his draft breakdown, Trevin Wallace was known as a guy with great athletics, ability, but didn't have NFL speed, didn't really understand the NFL game. It doesn't really understand the NFL playbook. So for that reason, I'm a little bit concerned. Now, obviously, he's a rookie. It's going to take time, but you've already gotten the moniker of the Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan's first linebacker pick, all that other stuff. So this could be an indictment on Dan Morgan at the end of the year if Trevin Wallace isn't advancing in the way that we really want. But at the same time, he's a rookie, so I got to give him a little bit of slack here. But again, the linebacker position is one that we're kind of changing around. There's so many. There's actually 3 linebackers on this list. So again, I know Trevin does deserve a little bit of leeway. He is a rookie. We're going to have him for a few years, but this first year, we got to see something. Show me some kind of spark that really tells everybody what the evaluators, the scouts, the coaches, and the owners saw in this guy. So, but at the same time, we're moving on to number 4. Now, I'm not sure how you feel about this guy, but DJ Wanham is in a pickle. Obviously, we've got Wanham in there. We've got Trevin Wallace in there. We've got another guy who's actually going to be later on the list. I think he's actually next. But regardless, DJ Wanham is coming off of a season with Minnesota where he worked next to Danielle Hunter. I think there's a lot of opportunities for him, but at the same time, he's also coming off of that injury. So that's a whole other concern. Trevin Wallace has the ability to say, you know what, I'm a rookie. I'm kind of still getting my feet wet and kind of really understanding the game. DJ Wanham doesn't have that opportunity. If he doesn't come out there and have meaningful pressures, come up with interceptions, whatever they need for him to do in the scheme, then I think this could be a big problem of the now Brian Burns-size hole that we have in that area, I apologize. There's the other one. I mean, we're expecting a guy who's in his 30s to come out here and fill the void like he did for Baltimore, like he did for the Browns. I'm pretty sure he was in Seattle for a very short, I think a 1-year deal or something like that. So we're asking him to come in here and really affect change. But again, we're ranked 32 in pass rush last year, 32 in sacks, I believe, as well. So I don't understand it. Last year, we were able to just kind of pin our heads back and just kind of go get the quarterback, and we still weren't able to do that well at it. So these 3 guys right here making up our linebacking core gives me some pause, to be honest. I think, like I've continued to say, the defense is going to suffer. I'm very concerned about how Evero is not going to have the tools to be able to really keep us in games. Regardless of what Bryce is going to be able to do on the offensive side, we need these guys to hold down the fort. We need these guys to be winning battles, most snaps. We need these guys covering. We need them to stay healthy, too. So we're in a really interesting spot with this. And as we move forwards, there's obviously a lot of conjecture, a lot of, I would say, just random opinions, because that's all we can do right now. We're in July. But this is where I'm really, really worried, especially because now people are really going to focus on our Pro Bowl defensive tackle from last year. So Derek Brown is going to have a tough time. That's why he's not on this list. And that's just a spoiler alert for you if you made it this far. So, number 4, I'm concerned about Josey Jewell. Now, obviously, 5-year veteran linebacker. He has a lot of great opportunities previously, but he's coming to a situation where, unfortunately, the Carolina Panthers, just having that Panther on the side of your helmet, immediately drops you in rankings. I actually kind of got into it a little bit, more of a back and forth with 4 Panthers fans only, which if you don't follow them, make sure you do. They're amazing. Where they said, what happens if we got Myles Garrett? Would he still be a top 5 pass rusher in the league? And I personally say no. Just like if Josey Jewell was a top 5 linebacker before, by putting that Carolina Panther on his helmet, or the Carolina Panther helmet on, he immediately drops in rankings no matter what, because we need to prove what we have. We haven't been able to really do much since the Cam Newton Super Bowl for the most part. We've, of course, had some winning seasons here and there, but I don't think this is the right way to win with these 4 guys in our linebacking core. We're really hoping, again, Trevin Wallace is able to flesh out. We're hoping TJ Wanham can come back from an injury. We're hoping Jadeveon Clowney can do jump into a time machine and do something that he did 5+ years ago. And of course, we're asking Josey Jewell to come in for Frankie Louvu that we allowed to leave in free agency. He could be a pretty measurable addition. He could be a perfect slot, a Louvu and Jewell. But at the same time, he, again, is not going to get the same opportunities he might have gotten in a Denver or something like that. So I'm worried. I'm very worried. Before anything else, my pass rush is my biggest concern for my team, and these 4 guys are the reason why. I truly don't believe in our pass rush this year, even though I'm a diehard Panthers fan and I want to see us do it. I just don't see it on paper right now. Of course, when we get to play games, a lot of that's going to change. We're going to see these guys hopefully get out there and be able to make some meaningful plays and really put us in position to win. I think Bryce will be able to put us in position to win some games, but if the defense is giving it away, Bryce is going to suffer in that category as well. And of course, that could lead to us having problems down the road. Now, before I reveal number 1, who would your number 1 be? Give it a second. Put it down in the comments. Because this one, I think, is one that most people say, oh, yeah, man, he's going to be great. Don't even worry about it. It is just super easy. He's great. Don't even put him on the list. But I'm sorry, I had to. Mr. J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn has been in the league for, I think this is his 4th year now. Getting to the end of that contract, 5th-year option is obviously a concern. Health has been a concern. And I'm one of the people that I really wish I still had a Twitter when he was drafted. But I thought he could have done really well. I liked him actually over Surtain with the Carolina Panthers. South Carolina guy, likes to play very physical man coverage, which is great for Carolina. He might be a dominant force in the secondary just in general, but his body has betrayed him to this point. So for that reason, I'm a bit concerned about the long-term viability of J.C. Horn. Do I think that we should keep him? Yeah, of course. But do I think that he needs to get paid some crazy amount for the 22 games he's played over 4 years? No. I think he needs to get a very, 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 very team-friendly deal in order to remain with us for the next 5-10 years. And obviously that injury bug has got to be squished.
I'm sorry. Was that your auntie? Oh, then that must mean that that's your uncle then, huh?
I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry. This is the one where I really feel like J.C. Horn is a bust pick. And again, I'm standing 10 toes down on it. I believed in him, so I would have made the wrong decision just like a lot of other people. So I accept that as well. Now, obviously you can see my top 5 now. It's an interesting one. I'll give you that. But that linebacking core continues to stay as my biggest concern outside of secondary. Secondary, obviously I'm worried about, but we've got some help there with Fuller, Woods, and Jackson. It's the Horn element. It's the extra guys after that I'm worried about. So I want to know your opinion. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? I want to know you. What is your top 5 concerns for defensive players? Now, obviously, we've got plenty of options, but at the same time, we're the Carolina Panthers, man. We need every position to be better. We need to win the small battles. We need to win in the trenches with our 2 new offensive linemen. There's a lot of things that really need to go right. And regardless of how much I believe in Dave McCandless, for example, which I do, I believe in him as much as I can. Obviously, I believed in the last regime a little bit more, but that last regime had to deal with an absolute barn burner of problems behind the scenes. Dave McCandless does not need to worry about that. He hopefully has the full push and the full resources of the organization moving forwards. Obviously, he's going to need more than a single season to rebuild this team, but given the way that Tepper handles things, I'm worried for Dave, and the season hasn't even kicked off. So, make sure you go down there, drop your comment, make sure you subscribe. My name is Nick. This has been Roll Coverage. And go check out our other videos, man. Fresh out on YouTube. We just hit 1,300 subs, so I cannot thank you guys enough. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Peace.